This week marks the 57th anniversary of the debut of A Charlie Brown Christmas. It originally came out on CBS and was sponsored by Coca-Cola. It is arguably the second of what could call the big three of the classic animated Christmas specials. That includes Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which debuted in 1964, with Charlie Brown coming in second in 1965, and then the year after that, in 1966, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Each of these, for a Gen X kid, became an annual tradition on television. Each was very well written, had exceptional voice acting, and the animation was pretty darn good. And each of those animation styles were entirely different. And because of that, because of a good story, because of really good voice acting and quality animation.
Hello in there. Rats.
Each one of those became not just an annual required watch for a kid on Christmas, but a major cash cow for its producers. Now, Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, used stop animation, something that still kind of blows my mind if we're honest about it, and at the time was the most expensive way to animate. Rudolph lasted an hour, while the other two specials, Charlie and Grinch, were 30 minutes. Rudolph was important because it told the story of the misfit, of those who stood up to conformity. Now, at the time, conformity meant a very different thing in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Look around right now. Look at what kind of conformity we're fighting. Now, The Grinch was animated under the direction of Chuck Jones. Now, those of you who grew up with the Looney Tunes cartoons will remember him for The Roadrunner, in addition to other cartoons that he did. And that particular story carried a very socialist, anti-commercial message from, of course, Dr. Seuss. It was narrated by the one and only Boris Karloff, yes, the same dude who played Frankenstein's monster, and the song was sung by Thurl Ravenscroft. Again, if you're a 70s kid, he's the guy who said, "You're great," and was Tony the Tiger. Trippy, right? You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is now considered a required Christmas carol on the radio. Now, out of all of these, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, only Charlie Brown mentioned someone who's in the title of the holiday, Christmas. Only Charlie Brown mentioned Jesus Christ. That made it the most controversial, believe it or not, of the three, and almost kept it off the air. Now, Coca-Cola, the sponsor of the Charlie Brown Christmas special, as well as CBS itself, and even the producer of the show, felt that putting Christ in Christmas would turn audiences off. Again, this is back in 1965. In TV, you can certainly have flying animated reindeer, and you can have Yukon Cornelius, and you can have that green slug-like asshole known as the Grinch tell the story of what Christmas is, but you can't actually have Jesus Christ in a Christmas special. Why? Atheists and leftists might object. Again, we're talking about the mid-60s. Interestingly, Charles Schulz, he's the creator of Charlie Brown, which was, if you don't know this, actually a daily cartoon strip that appeared in newspapers. Yes, we're going way back to horse and buggy days here. He was the creator of Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, the whole Peanuts gang. He insisted on 4 things for his special. Number 1, there would be no laugh track. Number 2, cool, groovy 60s jazz music, that children would voice his characters, and that the true meaning of Christmas would be the birth of Christ and the hope that he gave the world. The final scene of that cartoon was Linus reciting from the Bible, from the Gospel according to Luke. And to me, it is one of the most important scenes in any children's animated special in Western civilization. Now, it was Lee Mendelson who produced numerous Charlie Brown cartoons, both on the small screen as well as on the large, talked Charles Schulz into the project, and then hired the animator Bill Melendez to make the cartoon. Those producers had a vision, but stop me if you've heard this one before. The television executives didn't think that jazz belonged in a children's cartoon. This is CBS. They also challenged Charles Schulz's decision to use untrained children instead of professional adult voice actors. CBS didn't understand how children could use such big words, like when Lucy said,
How about cats? If you're afraid of cats, you have ailurophasia. Well, sort of, but I'm not sure.
and then when Pigpen said, don't think of it as dust, think of it as maybe the soil of some great past civilization, maybe the soil of an ancient Babylon.
It staggers the imagination. He may be carrying soil that was trod upon by Solomon, or even Nebuchadnezzar.
Now, despite not listening to the executives at CBS and the big corporate sponsors of Coca-Cola, what happened? Well, the Charlie Brown Christmas special became an instant classic. It wasn't just the executives. Charles Schulz got pushback from his own team. Now, the producers Mendelson, as well as animator Melendez, suggested that a laugh track would help save the show. And Schulz responded by standing up and walking out of the room. When Schulz, a Sunday school teacher and devout Christian, said that the character of Linus should recite from the Bible, specifically the Gospel of Luke, the producers both protested. Quote, they said, we looked at each other and said, well, there goes our careers right down the drain. Nobody had ever animated anything from the Bible before, and we knew it probably wouldn't work. We were flabbergasted by it, unquote. In retrospect, Mendelson realized eventually that Linus's segment probably made the entire project, a Charlie Brown Christmas special, work. Quote, that 10-year-old kid who recited that speech from the Bible was as good as any scene from a Shakespeare play, including Hamlet. When you think about it, though, Hamlet is a brilliant play, but it's fiction trying to be as good as the reality of the birth of a savior. But this is not a religious video. This is about the Charlie Brown Christmas special. What a different world we live in now. I hope you're having a good Christmas season. And it's not a holiday season, it's not wintertide, it's Christmas. I'm Salty Traveling Sea. I will be talking to you very soon. I hope you're having a good one. Later.